Hey, welcome back. Another day, another vlog. Hope you're all well on this Thursday. New microphone setup. I'm trying something new. Hope it's a little bit better. Got me Rode Wireless Go going into me Micro Go or whatever it is. The Rode Video Micro. I'm thinking this should make it sound a little bit cleaner. Let me know down below. I'll have a listen and suss it out. See how we go. But yeah, and I didn't have to run around. I'm using the Canon app. I don't know why I wasn't using it for ages, but I was hitting go, then running around and doing that. I'm getting more professional for you guys. Hope your Thursday's been okay and you're not working too hard at home or at work or whatever you're doing. Hope it's a reasonable day for you. It looks like not too bad weather, nice and cloudy, a little bit of shade for you guys working out in the sun. And I guess if you're stuck at home, it doesn't really matter. Whatever the temp set on the aircon, if you're in a hot climate, or wherever how much wood you got it stuck in the fire. Yeah, rightio. Heaps to talk about. Going to get straight into it. If you haven't already seen it, the new video is downloaded or uploaded, so you can go and check that. If you haven't noticed that, probably because you haven't got that bell ticked, so all notifications. Go tick that if you're subscribed. If you haven't subscribed, do appreciate that. I think down here somewhere I keep putting down there, but down there. That'll let you know when a new video or a new Another Day, Another Vlog episode comes out. We have hit 250 of those too, by the way. My goal of doing 365 of them, which is a year, is my goal. I did initially do like 6 months, I think 6 months straight without missing a day. I now do Monday to Fridays, and that seems to be a lot better because I get that 2 days of rest. Because it's surprising how much time this does take to put together each day. So I do hope you're enjoying it. As I said, new videos out. It's Whiteman Park. I went for a ride out there. It's a beautiful place. They've got a little animal set up. It's got playgrounds for kids. Obviously, you can't use that at the moment because of the rules, with the virus rules. But there's heaps to do out there. It's heaps of riding tracks. You can go for a run. It's a beautiful spot if you just need to get away from it all and just de-stress and just be by yourself, which is a really good thing at the moment to be doing. If you need to get away from your house, places like that where or these parks where you can go and not be near anyone and just clear your head and just breathe in a bit of fresh air and not be contained by walls is a nice thing to have. So definitely worth go check it out. Now it did turn into a bit of an astro. I found it's a beautiful old tree, but it's crazy how much light pollution Perth has getting thrown off it. I can only imagine what it's like for these guys trying to do astro work in a place like Europe or America, East Coast America or anything like that, where it's just pretty much lights up the whole country. It's amazing how much waste, the energy we expel on a night. In the middle of the night, when there's probably maybe 1 or 2% of people worldwide working during the night. I couldn't imagine it'd be too much more than that. But to have so much light on, just for it to be on, I don't really see the need. It's and you don't realise how much it does sort of affect nature until you try and take a photo of the sky and get this big white patch on the right hand side of you. For me, if I'm facing Milky Way, which is south, I think, for us at the moment, so the Perth's on my right for me now. That'll be your left or right. I get that confused every time. It just blows it right out. You get a big corner of hot spot. So it's very interesting, and yeah, a bit of a shame. I'm sure we could do something. I don't know why we need so many lights on a night. Street lights, surely they could have sensors that when something gets close it just comes on and not, so it just doesn't waste as much power. Anyway, that's not for me to work out. That's why the politicians make a pack of money. Rightio, other stuff. So that's the video. Go check it out. It did come up. I did get some nice shots of the Milky Way and this beautiful tree. There's some other great shots from around the park as well. I hope you enjoy those. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you want to see or do. If there's somewhere in Perth that you've Google mapped and you just want to know about it, I hope I may be able to get to it to do a video on it. It all depends. We do have a area locked down, so we can't travel too far. but hopefully our restrictions in the next week or two should be lifting. I might be able to get out before I go back to work. That's the next thing. I'm going back to work early. Not being able to sell the house because basically no one's buying anything because of this. Means I'm sitting here. My paternity leave, or parental leave, finishes middle of next month. So I'm going to go back to work after that, so I don't waste holidays, because it looks like we're going to have to hold off on the house sale for a while, which means we're stuck in Perth for another 12 months, which is not a bad thing. There's definitely more I can do here, and it's not we did want to go. We do want to move back to Sunshine Coast before Jack turns 5. That was the goal. Another 12 months. That won't take long. Hopefully, see how we go. But so yeah, there's lots happening on that side, which probably means I'm not going to get that across Australia drive that I was hoping to do a heap of videos on and go and do stuff. We'll see how we go. Who knows what's going to happen in the next couple of months. Fingers crossed it's a little bit quicker. Maybe Australia gets opened up. Maybe everyone goes back to a little bit normalcy here sooner rather than later. Right now, speaking of Australia, HSV has announced yesterday, it's in the Wheels website, that they're canning the Camaro sales. They have been bringing them in and selling them to customers for a few years now. Well, those last batch of cars they got in is going to be the last. They're not going to be doing it. Rumours are that Holden Worldwide may be canning the whole badge. Sales have been slumping pretty bad in the States in the last couple of years. The Dodge and the Ford have been doing really, really well, and the Camaro is basically not going well at all. I think they might just bring their performance V8 down to just leave it as the Corvette, which sells really, really well. So another car we're going to lose out of Australia as an option. There's pretty much, I don't know if Holden actually has any cars left to sell in the country. Basically, the only thing that they're selling that I know is selling well is the Silverados, and their compliance plate job is flown in as well, like the Camaro. So very interesting, and our car industry seems to be just going straight down the gurgler. The Australian government needs to do something about this. I've said it for years. They should be getting rid of those stupid taxes they put on these cars to protect an industry that does not exist. I think it's like 15 to 20% of your car price, once it gets over 40 or 50 grand, I think it's 50 grand or something, goes back into the government coffers to help them when they were giving money to Holden and Ford and Toyota to make sure that they didn't leave and we kept jobs. Well, we don't have them anymore. But they're still keeping that money, so that's ridiculous. That money could come off those cars. The price of these cars, like the Silverado, could drop down dramatically. We're not doing anyone any favours anymore by not buying a car where we should be able to buy a car from where everyone, as long as it's done all its compliance, it's safe, it's done all the safety testing. There's no reason why we shouldn't be allowed to buy what we want and not pay ridiculous prices. When you can pay, I think it's top of the line F100 in the States, like 60,000 US. So that's, even at the crappy exchange rate now, that's still under 100,000. That same car, to buy it in Australia through the companies that do it, is $190,000, which is just absolutely ridiculous. But yeah, so it's all going to, I guess, hopefully they do something and they can fix it, but yeah, it's not looking good at the moment. Right, for the Nikon, for the Sony guys out there, there's 3 new lenses announced. Voitlander lenses, they're full frame, the SE edition stills, all 1.2 apertures, very fast glass, a 35, a 40 and a 50. Metal bodies, so got that vintagey sort of a feel. They're looking around €1,000 a pop, so mega dollars. Sony, for some reason, I think they had that run where they were really super popular and the prices stayed up. They're going to need to drop those prices, because €1,000, that's probably nearly $2,000 a lens Australian. For that, that's really fast glass and that's fantastic, but there's a lot of options out there in the lens world. Sigma, which I use, this lens here. Love and Sigma do some fantastic lenses, and are nowhere near that price. You'd really have to be keen to get these lenses for that sort of money. I don't see why there's so much cash. It's, you know, they're metal frame and that's all good, but the Sigma lenses are a fantastic lens. There's a lot of other options. There's Sigma, there's Samyang, there's so many good quality lenses getting made now. That's a lot of money. I can't see how they're going to sell too many, but if you're a Voitlander fan, which there are a lot of, they're out, they're coming, so that's really cool. And it's the SE edition basically means for still photography, so it's not a video type lens, so it's probably going to have breathing and stuff in it if you do use it for video. I'm assuming it's going to be something along those lines, is why they've put it straight to that. But yeah, 1.2, super fast. Yeah, very nice. Another option for you anyway, up your sleeve. Nikon D6, confirmed that it's going to be sent out for shipping, or ready for shipping, start of May, first week. One of the Nikon shooters tweeted today that he has been told by Nikon USA that they'll be all shipping out at the start in the first week of May, and he'll get his with that first batch. So those guys, they were due out in April, what we're in now. They got pushed back obviously because of the virus. That's not too bad. 4 weeks is not too bad of a delay. They've done pretty well out of this Nikon. I'm sure they're pushing everything they can with the oncoming onslaught of the R5 to smash them down a bit, so they need everything they can. This D6 can't get out soon enough. They really need to get this out and start selling it before that R5 releases, because I think there's going to be a fair few people looking at options, depending on how dedicated they are at Nikon. The guys sitting on the fence, I think Nikon's going to lose a lot of those guys that are sort of borderline or looking for production value qualities and stuff like that. This D6 is going to have to be pretty special. Hopefully it's got enough in there to keep them going. Right, the Motorola Edge, we said that was due out. That's been dropped overnight. It's called the Motorola Edge Plus. It's their high-end version of just a normal phone screen, or a normal phone. They brought out obviously the flip, which didn't really go as well as they'd hoped. Samsung brought one out, the flip phones just haven't really taken off. The Fold seems to be the one. And realistically, the flip or the Fold have not sold as well as anyone thought. They're all still going to that one-piece form factor. They're not really swapping over. So it's this phone, 6.6. I'll just go through the specs first to get it out of the way. It's 90 hertz, which is probably not real flash. Most of them are 120 hertz nowadays, so that might hurt them a little bit. It does have a massive waterfall, 90 degrees they're saying, so it goes right over the edges, and there is ability to touch that. They will give you, they're saying the touch screen part of the screen is about 93% of the actual screen, so it's a fair portion that you can touch. It is fingerprint, it's not face unlock, it's got a little, just a pinhole for the camera. 6.7 inch screen, 108 megapixel, that same one, pretty much I'd say it'd be that same Sony one as the S20's using. Triple camera, 6K video. I think that's not a bad option, the 6K, and we've seen it with the Autel drone the other day. Yeah, the 8K is the base model, and then the 6K was actually a better quality, more for the video centric crowd. That 6K is probably a bit more reasonable. 8K is more of a marketing thing. You can't really do much with 8K. 6K is still friggin' awesome, so that'll be fine. Ultra wide, it's got ultra wide camera, normal camera, and then a macro mode. Now they're saying on their site it's got the loudest sound on any smartphone, so that'll be something really interesting. It's been tuned up and they've got work for some people with that, but they reckon it's the loudest sound. Very interesting. They're saying it's got the biggest battery, which is a 5,000 milliamp. That's as big as you can go. They're saying 2 full days of battery power. Wireless charging, and that wireless charging is a 15 watt wireless charger, which is pretty low. And the 18 watt charger, the normal charger, that's not super thing. So I can't see it being super fast charging. I think they're going on the plans that it's going to last, so you don't really need to smash in a boost, which is strange because there's most of them now have got that, at least you get like 70-80% out of 30 minutes, so I think that's come a standard, so this might hurt them a little bit. 5G, they're saying it's the fastest 5G you can get, so it's set up for that. Specs are like 4 gigabyte per second. Well, obviously, until 5G millimeter waves come out, nothing like that's going to be even close. Probably the best they could get at the moment is 300 megs a second, depending on what market they're in. So, still going to be good, so that'll be fine. 256 mega storage. Doesn't say if that is expandable. If you're going to be running 6K film, you're going to need more than that. You'd probably want to be able to at least put in another 256, so you can have one for just punch out. If you're going to punch the movies out, do it on that way. It's got the 865 Snapdragon in it, 12 gigabyte of RAM, so a ton of RAM in there, so that will make a big difference. That's pretty awesome. USB-C, still has a headphone jack, the 3.5, Gorilla Glass, water repellent. Doesn't say water resistant, doesn't say 30 minutes or anything, it says water repellent technology. So I'm assuming just a splash resistance, nothing along the lines of your Apple or your Samsung level. 1080p you've got the front facing one is a 25 megapixel camera for your selfie, and then obviously your rear, you've got the 108, and you've got 1080 at 60 frames a second. It's got Wi-Fi 6, and yeah, it's a good camera. Now $1,000 they're saying, that's roughly the price estimate of it. $1,000 US. I'm pretty sure the Samsung Fold and the S20 around about the 1,400, so 2,500 roughly, well over 2,000 Australian. I think this is going to come under that price, and I think that's where they're going to have the advantage. I think what they've got here is something very similar to the specs of the S20, but at a maybe $300 to $400 to $500 lower price level than the Samsung S20. S20 has had some issues. That's been reported heavily. Hopefully Motorola has this a little bit more fine-tuned, and if they're got that $300 to $400 mark below, it's basically the same technology, same Android system, so you could easily just go, well, I'll just go Motorola. And I think that's where they're going to have their big win. And then lastly, Coles has just reopened home delivery. So if you don't want to get out to the shops and drive out to the shops, they've now got spaces open. I got an email today from the boss of Coles saying that they've reopened that. You can now get in line to put in an order, a weekly order or whatever. So that's going to be fantastic for the pensioners. I suggest what they should have probably done with this is to make sure that pensioners get first in line somehow. So if you've got a concession card, well then those people can do their online shopping so they don't have to go out. So that would be better for them to stay away from the shops. That would have been better than opening it up to everyone, because I think there'll be a fair few people who just do it because they're sitting at home and they can easily get it off the go and put it in the fridge. So yeah, but anyway, it's good. We get a little bit of a light at the end of the tunnel. And that's about it. Another day, a fair bit in that. Sorry if I waffled on too long. Hope you've had a good day. End of the working week for us all. Tomorrow, Friday, I will see you all again then. Thanks for stopping by. If you haven't seen the video, go check it out, Whiteman Park. It gets a little spooky out there at night by yourself. Trust me, I was a little bit brr. Hope you enjoyed the photos and the video, and I will see you all tomorrow. Thanks for being part of the team. Whether you're coming home, going to work, I'll see you all soon. Peace.